Welcome back, everyone. We begin a healthy debate about America's most famous doctor. Dr. Oz has given a lot of medical advice over the years, including recommending supplements for weight loss. But now Dr. Oz has the weight of the world on his shoulders. Lawmakers are questioning what he recommends, and a lot of people are now saying the land of Oz should be questioned. Here's more on that story.
Cut it out. That's what the U.S. Congress had to say to Dr. Mehmet Oz, who allegedly supported deceptive weight loss plans that cut pounds in an unhealthy manner.
No one's telling you not to use passion, but passion in connection with the word miracle, pill, and weight loss is a recipe for disaster.
It's not the flowery language that Senator McCaskill is criticizing me for. It's that I never told them where to go to buy the products. So that opened up a huge market for folks to just make fake stuff. I left my audience hanging, thinking I was doing the ethical thing.
Oz appeared before the Senate's Consumer Protection Panel for weight loss claims on his TV show, The Dr. Oz Show.
We didn't call this hearing to beat up on you, and you can either be part of the police here, or you can be part of the problem.
Well, I came here because I want to be part of the solution, not part of the problem.
Last month, the Federal Trade Commission sued the sellers behind Pure Green Coffee and accused them of making bogus claims and deceiving customers.
Dee Dee Benkie and Dr. Bart continue our discussions. We are also joined by certified health coach Claudia Petrilli. First time here on Fresh Outlook, and we welcome you.
Hi, thank you.
Well, what did you think about these hearings with Congress and, first of all, Dr. Oz? We'll take the temperature with everybody. Healthy debate.
Yeah, I think it was good that he was there because when he speaks, everyone listens. And, you know, I think that it sounded sort of like quackery to me, so I'm kind of glad they thumped him.
Claudia, what do you think? I mean, you're in this business.
I mean, I like him. I follow him. I am a little disappointed in the way he markets these products and how the wording that he uses, saying things like it's a miracle weight loss pill.
Well, I have a friend that works at Whole Foods. We were talking about this at break, and she said that every time Dr. Oz says something, like 100 people will go in there and buy something.
Right.
And
he's huge.
He's
really
got 3 million viewers. But here's a couple of other numbers. $2.4 billion is the number that Americans spend on weight loss products a year. Yeah. Dr. Bart?
Well, this is a good one for me. I don't use the word hate on this show. I've never used it before, but I hate the idea of pills and supplements to lose weight. We need to have behavioral changes, and people can feel good about losing weight. They need to change their expectation level. There's a lot psychologists and healthcare professionals can do with cognitive behavioral approaches to help people strategize how to lose the weight and feel good about themselves, and it does work. But this stuff about pills and supplements is really contraindicated and just bad.
And I have to say, I'm going to go right on record to say, hey, I've done it once. So, I bought one once. So, but yeah, I spent $50 on it. It's ridiculous. And what bothers me is I personally was wondering what kind of kickbacks Dr. Oz was getting.
Of course.
And I
makes
like
a ton
him
of money
a
with
lot.
this.
Right.
Well, look, I'm against that too. Any supplements or any sort of miracle pill. It's like, look, this is easy. It's just simple math. What you eat, there's a certain amount of calories, and then what you take off, that's a certain number as well. So this is not hard. People are eating too much. They're putting too much in their mouth, and they're sitting on the couch doing nothing. So it sits there and you get fat. Nothing else, so stop taking a pill, stop taking the snake oil or whatever else they're claiming is a miracle, because it's not.
Well, Claudia, what's your recommendation when you have a client that comes in that perhaps wants to lose, there's people that want to lose 10 pounds, there's people that want to lose 50. Well, what do you recommend to them?
Well, like Dee Dee was saying, I mean, you have to get off your butt and move. I mean, you have to implement simple changes. Start eating healthier, start cutting out some of the sugar, get up and move, go for a walk. I mean, no one's saying you have to go work out at a gym 2 hours every day, but you have to move.
And Dr. Bart, I know that you sometimes talk about addiction, but people can also have an addiction to food.
Oh, they get their enjoyment, their fulfillment is from food. And I think what's just been said here is very important, but it's probably even more important for people to have the right mindset. You have to have the right thinking to do just what Dee Dee said about eating properly and just what you're saying about in terms of getting off sugar. That's all sensible talk. But it doesn't work unless people have a mindset which says, I'm going to change my lifestyle. I'm going to have 3 or 4 meals a day, but they're going to be at the same time. They're going to be proper foods, and I'm going to enjoy the food, and I'm going to do this the right way.
But the problem is when they push the easy solution, like you just pop a
Right.
pill, or you put some oil on, or whatever these crazy things that they do, or this belt that all of a sudden the jiggle, you know what I mean? You're going to lose weight. It's like, oh, really? Are people believing that? But they do.
Yeah.
They really
but
do.
people also want instant gratification.
exactly.
And do you think that's an indication of today's society,
Oh,
Claudia?
absolutely. I mean, everyone wants the quick fix. Nobody
It's
wants
epidemic. It's
yeah,
really
nobody wants to
amazing that
put
people
the work
believe this
in,
stuff.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
And that's what's disappointing about him to me in this whole thing is that he's always teaching about preventive health and that there are things you have to take, steps to take. And the fact that he's now pushing pills and things, saying that they're a miracle, that to me is just going along with the whole culture of
Well, it's kind of like
quick
he's
fix,
selling
pill
himself
popping.
out a little bit. So I was a little disappointed. He gave a very meek apology today, Claudia. What did you think about that?
I mean, he has to save his butt. He wants to keep his fans. I mean, and I'm sure a lot of people, this is bringing up a lot of things. Like, people are starting to say, like, is this guy a quack? Is he the real deal? I mean, he's a doctor. He's a practicing doctor, so he has credibility.
So if he's lying about this, what else is he lying about?
Exactly.
Or if he's stretching this truth, what else is he stretching the
Right,
truth
now-
on? So it
and,
can
you know,
affect his
to-
business.
To Claudia's
Right.
point, really, I think people understand more and more today that just taking a pill doesn't solve a problem. You know, you take a pill for depression, for anxiety, for losing weight. I mean, it's getting to the point where most folks just don't believe that anymore.
I don't agree with you. I think they do. I think they still do. That's the problem.
let's go back to that $2.4 billion
there's-
that they're spending a year, because I would absolutely counter that and say
I
I think
agree.
most people do agree, or they
Or they want to
believe.
so badly.
Well,
Yes.
let me just rephrase that. I think more people are aware that you can't solve a problem with a pill, but there's a certain sector, I agree, in this population in America that want the quick fix. And he's appealing to that by making these statements.
Because he does other things well, and he's making the mighty dollar. And how much money does he need? I mean, he's a gazillionaire already, so that's the disappointment. He doesn't need this.
Let's just talk about some of these regulations. Why do you think they were so lax? I mean, some of these things have no claims. You can buy stuff through the mail. You know, that green coffee. You know, there's lots of claims that speeds up your metabolism a little bit, and it could actually be good for you.
Yeah, who says that 2,000-year Chinese ancient secret thing? I mean, because, you know, a lot of times you go into these herb stores, and, you know, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, but if they've got just a little bit of it in some pill, and they're manufacturing just for the mighty dollar, then that's not going to be enough, and maybe they're just pushing for the money.
Claudia?
Well, I mean, why are there lax regulations on any food product that you see? I mean, if you go into any grocery store, for instance, you're walking down the cereal aisle, you pick up a box of, I don't know, Lucky Charms or something, and it's stamped with the whole grain logo on there. It's not a whole grain. I mean, we all know it's riddled with artificial flavorings and preservatives and sugar.
And what about some of those organic labels?
Yeah, well, the market, I mean, they really can say a lot. There could be like a percentage of an organic ingredient, and they call it organic.
0.02
Exactly.
something.
Yeah. And also, to answer your question, I think it's hard to do the research on all of these different products. If you want to do the proper research, that's a real job. And how many government jobs can we have to research everything? And I think it's really gotten to the point where it's overwhelming right now.
Well, Claudia, since this is your territory, what do you advise to the consumer when they do buy products? One, and is it a good idea to have a health coach?
Absolutely. I mean, I know people are very confused. There's just so much going on. There's so many conflicting ideas, you know, who to listen to. And now when something like this comes out, it's like everyone worships Dr. Oz, and when even things that he's saying are not necessarily right, you have to kind of be realistic and look at yourself. You know, what about bio-individuality? Like, what might work for me might not work for you. So working with somebody like a health coach or just your doctor and talking about having a plan. If you want to lose a certain amount of weight, you have to have a plan in place and realize you're going to have to make some changes.
And to learn more, Be Healthy, Happy, Whole is your website, if anybody is interested. In terms of what happened with Dr. Oz, just your predictions, do you think that people are going to trust the doctor next week, Dee Dee?
For the most part, probably. He'll probably get a pass because he is so popular. I mean, I like him as well. This is just disappointing, though, so it's good to now take him with a grain of salt.
Right.
And I think it's a healthy conversation, as I said, a healthy debate. Claudia, your predictions for Dr. Oz moving forward?
I think he's still going to have his fans, and maybe some people will be a little leery about certain things. And I hope that people take the time to really do their own research.
You think we're going to see him pushing these pills?
I think he might tone it down a little.
Okay, yeah,
He better.
He was pushing quite a few pills there.
Yeah.
And how do we go back to trusting our doctor, Dr. Bart?
Well, I think that the medical profession for too many years has been pushing pills to solve problems. And I think that's something that just came out with this segment with Dr. Oz. And I think it's a good thing that we're talking about it, because the medical profession has to get away from
Try
that.
the drug. I mean, really, this is about the drug companies, and they rule the world on, lobbyists. I mean, they give so much money to DC and members of Congress and so forth. We are taking way, way, way too much medication. I won't even take an aspirin unless I won't take any medicine at all unless you absolutely have to. And I think people need to do that more. Just take less.
And people, I mean, between, like, you're right, aspirins, Anacin, girlfriend of mine had her purse, and it looked like a drugstore.
Well, remember, doctors do get kickbacks. So you have
Absolutely.
to remember that there is an incentive. They make money. Now, with Obamacare, not to go there too much, but really they're looking to make some more money. That's not good. It's unethical.
Well, I think that if we looked at cognitive behavioral approaches and healthcare experts who are dealing one-to-one with patients, that's the way to go in the future. That's success. I mean, there's real success here on a one-to-one basis with psychologists and healthcare experts.
And Claudia, since you're a healthcare expert, one last question for you. How can consumers protect themselves from these scams, and what should they look for?
Do your homework. Research, read labels, look for USDA organic stamps, non-GMO labeling. I won't get too much into that, but I think that could be another segment. Work with somebody and don't trust everything that you hear. I mean, if something...
I don't trust anything.
Yeah, if something seems
ask
too good
about
to be
everything.
true, most likely it's too good to be true.
And I think that's a great point. If it sounds too good, it's probably not too
Right.
good. And also, I also like that tip that you gave, that your plan might not be the best plan for another person.
Exactly.
So check out with a healthcare professional like yourself. Be healthy, happy, whole. Claudia Petrilli, we thank you for being on Fresh Outlook. Keep it here, everyone. We're going to talk about drugs and athletes up next. It used to be the two worlds were worlds apart, but with multi-million-dollar contracts, drugs in sports have become more common than ever before. More on that when we return.